Hello and welcome! Today we're making this mini French Bulldog with some embroidery details, and we're not gonna need much, just some felt and stuffing and of course thread and scissors. I will be using plastic safety eyes, but if you don't have those, you can use felt or beads instead, and I have a video showing both of those methods, so feel free to check it out. So let's begin working on the head. So I'm going to start with the face, and so we have the base of the face, muzzle, the nose, and the tongue to attach. And for the tongue, I have a couple of options here. You can use this funny sticking out tongue, a long version, or you can just make a little tiny tongue that's sticking out just a little bit. So if you're gonna make a short version, you can cut off half of this tongue and just insert it underneath the muzzle like this. And for the long version, we're gonna make a few stitches here on the back side of the tongue and then attach it like this. So let's get this tongue ready. And now let's work on the muzzle. Place it in the middle so the bottom parts stick out a little bit beyond the face part. So this part is a little tricky because I don't have any fabric here to attach to, but I don't want to leave a hole because there will be stuffing here. So I'm going to turn it this way and I'm going to make stitches like this. I want to connect the two pieces of fabric, but I don't want the stitches to show on this side. So I'm only going to grab the top part of that piece like this. So there's nothing showing on this side. And don't tighten too much, otherwise it's gonna bunch up the fabric. And then here we can go back to the whip stitch. And so if you're making a short tongue, you can insert it right now, something like this. Keep using the whip stitch to stitch through here, but I'm gonna do the long one, so I'm gonna make a few more stitches right here. So this is our right side. So I'm gonna turn it upside down and insert a little piece in here, and then we're gonna flip it and attach here. So right now we're seeing the wrong side. And then in this place we're gonna do the same thing as we did here. Okay, and now we can stuff it just a little bit. Like this, and just finish stitching here. next we're going to attach the nose. Just make sure not to tighten the thread too much, otherwise the nose is gonna create a dent in the muzzle, and we want it to sit just on top. Next, I'm gonna work on some face details. I'm gonna add the whisker dots using French knot, and if you're not familiar with those, check out my video on how to make French knots, and this line and a little reflection on the nose. If your French knot disappeared into the fabric, sometimes this happens, you can either make a new one or just make a couple stitches over it so it's more visible. And now, using the same thread, we're going to attach the tongue. So I'm going to try to do an invisible stitch again, just grabbing the top layer or the bottom layer of the fabric in this case. So it's not showing on this side. And maybe one more stitch. That's enough, just a couple of stitches. And the last thing before we do the eyes, I want to make the light reflection on the nose. I usually use white thread or something very light, and just make a few stitches next to each other. Just make a sort of a blob. And now let's work on the eyes. Use these guide dots to make the holes in the fabric. And I'm using this hole making tool that came with the plastic eyes, but pointed nail scissors will work just as well. And if the holes come out too small, use your scissors to make tiny cuts to make them bigger. And when I cut the eyes or the posts, I like to use a little bit of stuffing to catch these posts so they don't go flying. And make sure you don't cut too close, like I usually cut one notch down, because otherwise the safety piece might come off. And the last detail I'd like to add on the face are the eyebrows and these little skin folds. Okay, now our face is done, or his face, and we can work on the ears. Before we begin working on the ears, make sure you lay them out correctly so you have the left and right ear. And the top part is a little more narrow. So we're gonna fold this side inwards, and it's gonna be like this. So, but first we need to attach this fold, just a few stitches. A few running stitches here, making sure you're actually getting the ear. Once we have the ears attached to the back side, we can put together the head. And I'm gonna leave the opening at the bottom so we can stuff it. So I'm gonna start on this side. And just using a blanket stitch, I'm gonna go around. Once you get to this part, make sure your thread is not showing through here. So just grab the two pieces of the head, not the muzzle. Okay, and now we're gonna stuff this. So for stuffing, we can use just plain stuffing. Or what I like to do, I like to recycle my scraps. So I cut them tiny pieces. I have fabric and pieces of thread here, something like this. And then I take a bit of stuffing and mix it all together. And I don't even need this much, but I can keep this for the body. And then I just use this to stuff the head. If you're using a lighter color felt, or if your felt is very thin, it might not work because the pieces will be showing through. But my felt is pretty thick and dark, so it's very forgiving. I have more space here, so I'm gonna use the rest of my mix. And here we go. The head is finished. Looks very cute. And now we can move on to the body. Okay, I have all the body pieces cut out, including the tail. And I'm going to start with the tail. Now let's connect the two body pieces like this. I'm going to stitch around here, and then we're going to attach the bottom. Okay, these two parts are connected, and now I'm going to attach this bottom part. Right now I'm gonna add a bit of stuffing and then stitch a little more. Have more of my mix here. And we don't want to fill it too much because we want the bottom be more or less flat if we want him to stand. So I think this is good for now. My bottom is flat and the body feels nice, so I'm gonna finish stitching. Okay, body is ready and it should be standing nicely. Now let's attach the head to the body. I like the body to be pretty short, but you can, test it and see if you like him. If you like to have a longer body, move the head up. I usually try to put it somewhere in the middle of the head. And let's spin it and see if I like this. You can also tilt the head a little bit. This way or this way. I'm gonna do mine straight. Maybe a little bit of a tilt, like this. And I'm going to insert my needle somewhere in the middle here. And check again if you like where the head sits before you start your final stitching. And I'm gonna use the invisible stitch. Once you have several stitches, you can remove the pin. So the first few stitches are very loose. And then as you come full circle, you tighten it. I'm going around one more time to make sure that the head is not wobbly. Almost done. Now we only have the legs. Mine is standing pretty well, but sometimes before you attach the leg it might tilt over. But don't worry, once we get the legs in, it should be standing nicely. And while I still have the opening here, I like to add the last bit of detail, are these claws. Totally optional, you can skip this step, but I'm gonna show you how I do this. So leave the main thread and take a different color contrasting thread and then go through this opening to hide the knot. And so this is going to be where the claws are supposed to be, this little corner. If it's going sideways, correct it with the needle. Go. Now we have the claws and we can finish stitching the leg. I'm not going to stuff it because it's so small. And here we go, have the one leg ready. And while we still have the thread here, let's attach the leg to the body. Like this, and make sure the leg sticks a little bit beyond the body. This will help your little doggy to stand and not fall over. So usually when I touch limbs, I go around like this, but this leg is so small, I find it easier to go back and forth, something like this. And here we go, our little Frenchie is done. And at the bottom is bulging out a little bit. Just push it in with your fingers and you should be able to stand. You don't have to use these colors. You can experiment, like make black and white or any other color that you like. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me know in the comments what color is your Frenchie.